Okay, so here is option one. Now you're going to have to hit pause in about 2 minutes once I get done telling you the supplies that we're going to need. Option one was picking a black and green piece of construction paper for our background. So if you have the black and green construction paper, you need your drawing from last week. Some crayons or oil pastels are going to work really well. I have these fancy ones. They're called construction paper crayons. They work really well on construction paper. You're going to need a glue stick and a pair of scissors. Okay, so right now, hit pause and go grab all that stuff. Now, I'm going to show you what I did while I was prepping for this lesson. Number one, I took our picture from last week, click, and I cut out our 3 pumpkins. I colored these in before I cut them out. That way, if I made any mistakes coloring in the pumpkins, I would just cut it off and it's perfectly fine. I also took a piece of green piece of paper and I cut it for the size that I want our grass to be. So it's almost like a third of the paper. We'll have a sky, we'll have a ground, talking just like in our chick project, we're going to have a foreground, the front of the picture. We're going to have a background, the back of the picture, and the pumpkins are going to be somewhere in the middle ground. Okay, so we're going to start by gluing our 2 pieces of paper together. So take out a glue stick. If you have a glue stick, that's awesome. If you're using white glue, something that Mr. Thompson's kindergarten art teacher, Mrs. White, always said, a little dab will do you. Just a little bit, spread it out. Once you have that, you're going to take it and carefully place it on the bottom. And I want you to kind of go from the center out, rub from the center of that green piece of paper out. Kind of hold it down and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, that paper, that glue is still drying. According to Elmer's, it takes about 30 seconds to 10 hours for this stuff to dry. So just be careful. We're going to leave this nice and flat. And we don't want to try and peel it off, because if you're peeling it off, you're not letting the glue set. Okay, next, we're going to take our pumpkins that we colored in already, and we're going to glue those down. So I'm going to do this kind of off to the side because I don't want any glue getting on here. And I'm going to kind of go quickly. Make sure you get those pumpkin stems. If you're able to cut out the vines, great. If you weren't, like me, I made a couple of mistakes and I cut them off. So that's okay. So now we're going to figure out where we want these to be. I kind of want them like right about here. Not at the bottom of the paper, not at the top of the paper, just like somewhere happily right in the middle. Now, once we have that, and remember, if I'm going too fast, hit pause. And I might be going too fast because I'm excited to get through this project and work on all the drawing stuff on the top and on the bottom. So if I'm going too fast right now, just hit pause and you can catch up. Okay, now, if we are ready to move on, we're going to use these crayons to color in our background. If you have oil pastels at home, those will work great. Oil pastels are similar to crayons, but they're a little bit thicker. They go on a little bit easier because they're not made out of wax. And we're going to use those in our next project. So we're going to need to get some to help with our first painting project of the school year. So first thing that we're going to do, hey, Orange, get out of here. We're going to come up here and we're going to recreate that moon. So we started with a nice big C. And then last week we did 2 smaller C's. And I said it kind of looked like a backwards 3. So this part's going to be a little trickier to do. So we're going to just color this part in. If we can leave an eyeball for our moon, Like I just made a circle, now I'm coloring around it. That's great. If you can make a smile like that and then color around it, that'd be great. If you're having a hard time with it, don't worry about it. Make it just a little smaller. There you go. We're going to go back up here and make some of those Thompson clouds. So we're going to start with that line. See how nicely these construction paper crayons show up? Regular crayons will work too, just not nearly as much. We'll make a smaller one. Make it look like it's a little further away. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. Nice relaxing weekend. The weather was very nice. Yesterday was a little rainy, but that's okay. Rainy days are welcome. Okay, now I have this yellow. I was thinking with this yellow, come here, yellow, we can make some stars. If this star shape is hard for you, I like to do dots. Maybe you could try and make like the Big Dipper. Start by making 4 dots like this. And then you make the handle. It comes off like that. Just try and fill up that sky. Now, I have a couple of different colors that I can try and use to recreate those vines that we may or may not have cut off. Did I cut them off? Yeah, I did. So the first color that we're going to try is going to be this light green. Since we have this dark green bottom, I don't think it's going to work out very well. It's very faint. You could kind of see it. Let's see if I could zoom in a little bit. Oh, can't see it that well. So we're going to leave that alone, and we're going to go to a brown. This shows up a lot better. Ooh. Now I can do the loop-de-loops. Just kind of have these all kind of interlinked, linked together. Our pumpkin patch here at Kings Road School has a lot of vines, and they even have some really big leaves. So we're going to make a really big leaf, but we're not going to color it in because it's going to be green. So I'm going to draw it just like this. I start by making a straight line, and then I put kind of like a raindrop shape around it. That's a nice, easy way to make a leaf. So we're going to add a couple more. This one has a curve in it. Feel free to add as many of these as you want. Now, anything else that you want to put in this background, I want you to go for it. Okay? I saw some pumpkins coming in that looked a little spooky. I saw some faces on some pumpkins. You know who you are. Those looked awesome. I saw some pumpkins that looked like they were drawn on a hill. That was really creative. Okay? Instead of having your horizon line go straight across, it started down here and ended up here. That looks great. That's going to change your entire picture, and it's going to look awesome when you're done with it. Okay? The straight horizon line was just an easy cut for me to make. And if we were doing this in school, everybody would have gotten just a green piece of construction paper like this that I would have cut out. Okay. Just like in our last picture, I'm going to put in, just fill up this space over here with a little pond or something. When I lay my crayon down on its side, it colors a little bit better because instead of using the tip of the crayon, I'm using the side of the crayon. So there's more surface area for you to color with. Okay, instead of doing this and getting that, because we have ghost holes in there, see all those empty spots? I'm laying it down on its side. Just a little coloring trick from Mr. T to you. And that's a pretty good pumpkin picture right there. There you go. So this was option one. Maybe, you know what? I've got this darker blue. Let's see what this looks like. Give this water a little border. Oh, yeah. Got a darker blue or purple. Do that. Look at that. Got some waves in there. Awesome. Perfect. This looks great. Okay, so this was option one. If you want to keep adding more to this, please do. This is just the basic part of it, okay? Just like last week when we drew this out, I gave you the two different options. I would love to see your creativity and see how you can go with this and add some more, okay? Forgot the birds. Birds flying home. Midnight flight. Help fill out that sky a little bit. Here you go. Okay, so remember to fill out the Google form. Okay, if you cannot attach your picture to this, that's okay. Send me an email or have obviously mom or dad or somebody at home send me the email with the picture. And don't forget your name and your school and your teacher. Awesome. Hope you had fun watching. Can't wait to see how you did.